Hi friends, welcome back to this channel. I wanted to take some time today to discuss a little bit about some of the tips for surviving busy season in public accounting. For those of you who are new, my name is Ariel. I'm a certified public accountant in the state of Florida, and I've survived several different busy seasons over the last couple of years. And I figured now, especially at the time of filming this video, it's kind of the end of January, would be a really great time to kind of discuss some of these things. For most people, busy season is going to be from any time towards kind of the end of January through April. Particularly if you work in tax, as you have a lot of those tax deadlines. But also if you work on like the audit side of things as well, depending on the year ends of your clients, that's going to affect, when different audits start. And so a large portion of those are usually calendar year end audits, which means their busy time is going to also coincide with tax time. And so I just wanted to take this time. So let's discuss some of the things you could do to get through that busy season. And, that busy season, it's called the busy season because it's the time of year where people are working oftentimes extensive hours, more than your typical standard 40-hour work weeks. This could be anywhere between could be like 45 hours, could be, 70 or 80 hours. Depending on the firm you work for and the clients that you work with. So let's talk about a couple different things that you can do to help make this time of year easier. I want to talk a little bit about some of the things you can do at the beginning of your busy season before it even starts if possible, and then during your busy season, and then something to kind of consider after busy season. So the first tip is preparing mentally. So just, knowing and having an expectation that you're going to be working quite a few hours is important. Make sure that you're fully kind of prepared for that mentally, just understanding that it'll make it a lot easier. And I think hopefully for many of you, you're already well aware of that. But if you're thinking like, oh yeah, I'm probably just going to work 40 hours, make sure you are kind of preparing for the fact that it might be a lot more. Now, that doesn't mean you should stress. I don't want you shouldn't, try to overly stress about all the possible hours that you could be working. That's not going to help your mental health, but just kind of, get in the mindset that it's temporary, that it's not forever, that you're going to probably have to put in a little extra work now, but hopefully it'll lighten up as the months go by, as you finish out the season. And so just kind of understanding that, yes, it's going to be a lot to deal with at first, but that you'll get past it can be kind of really a good small step to help you survive busy season. I think just knowing those expectations and putting those into play both with yourself and also even preparing your family, depending on your life situation, so that they can be aware that this is going to be a time set aside where a lot more work is going to be required. The next thing I want to say is to get organized. And so if this is not your first busy season and you've been doing accounting for a little while, or if you're in your first year, either way, if you've are not starting your career, or you're not starting with busy season being the beginning, you probably are coming off other clients. So it's really important to, if possible, do everything you can to get those knocked out of the way. There's nothing worse than having some clients that are, going to require you to be super busy and focused in while you still have all these other clients and looming things that are still outstanding in the background that now you have to pile on top of what you are going to be required to work for during busy season. So, if possible, try to wrap up any loose ends on other work so that way the path can be clear for you to focus on the things that you need to focus on during the season. And then also, if you have some time, try to organize your email, organize your files, organize your desk, give yourself a good clean space, both physically and mentally, to be prepared to take on that extra workload. And then the third one, I kind of touched on it a little bit in the beginning, but just kind of set clear expectations with friends and family. During busy season might not be the best time to plan a vacation trip with the girls, or a family vacation. You might not be able to go out to every dinner with friends, whatever the thing may be. It doesn't mean that you have to kind of put all social events both family and friends on hold during this time of year. But, just letting them know that you are going to be super busy and that you might not have time for as many extra commitments can do a lot to help those people be prepared and you not feel like you're letting them down when you have to say no to those extracurricular activities. So just, kind of putting it out there, putting the expectations out there can do a lot. And then let's talk now a little bit about some of the things you can do as you're going through busy season. And again, all these things are things that are good during any time of year, but I think especially during this time of year, during your busy period. One is going to make sure, don't neglect your physical health. It can be really easy to do. Like if you're working very long days, no one wants to go running or lift weights after work or before work, but can be a huge stress reliever to make sure you're taking the time to exercise and eat well to have all the strength and energy that you need to kind of make it during this more intensive work period. In accounting world, we may be sitting at desks and in front of computers, but it might not be physically draining, but it is very mentally draining. And so having an outlet to kind of keep yourself physically fit, it can be a huge plus to help make this busy season a lot easier for you. And then the next tip is try to make your schedule work for you. Now, this is going to depend a little bit in your position. If you're like a new incoming intern, you may not have as much flexibility over your schedule as someone who's a little bit more senior level. And it also can depend on firms and whether you're working remotely or at a client's. But at least what I've seen, oftentimes public accounting firms can be somewhat flexible with how you work. And so what I mean by this is, if you have to work longer hours, that might be staying until, instead of leaving at 5, that might be staying till 6 or 7 or 8 o'clock at night. Or on the flip side, I know people who will come in early. Like I knew someone who would come in to the office at 6 or 7 in the morning so that they can get some extra hours then, and then they would still leave at like 5 o'clock or whatnot. And so, understanding if you're a morning person, if you work better in the evenings, if you have different family commitments, try to make time that works for you. I know some people will work more somewhat standard hours during the week, but then on the weekend they'll try to power out a whole bunch of hours. I know some people that will work weekends but try to do it all in one day and then have some type of day to like play or rest. Other people that like to like split up and do a few hours each day of the weekend. So it really just depends on you to some extent, but if you have flexibility with your schedule, figure out like what your game plan is. Are you going to come in early? Are you going to stay late? Are you going to work more on the weekends? What is going to be your way of managing it? And if possible, if you have those options, like be able to, pick something that works for you and enjoy that little bit of freedom that hopefully you have. And again, all these tips may not apply to every single person, but hopefully a lot of you will have that opportunity to have some flexibility in your schedule. So try to plan something that makes the most sense for you to optimize your time, while you're doing your work. And then the last thing I want to talk about, at least for during busy season, is, take time to still develop relationships with your coworkers. It might be easy to think, oh, I've got work. I can't talk to anyone. I got to keep my head down. I got things to do. I don't want people asking questions. But take some time to, build relationships. It'll make the process a lot better. Happiness with relationships can be a huge, huge part of what makes people happy at work. So, rather than just being miserable that you have so much work, try to enjoy your time with your coworkers. Try to still be able to, work hard, play hard, be able to joke around if possible, be able to, have some type of, good trust with your coworkers as much as possible, and still attempt to build those relationships with like newer coworkers throughout the process, because it'll make having to spend very many hours working with these people every day a lot more enjoyable and bearable. So make sure you're focusing still on those relationships. A lot to balance, but that is definitely an important one. And then last but not least, talking a little bit about after busy season, take a vacation, take a break. You've worked hard. You've put in a lot of hours, and now it's time to relax a little. I think sometimes it can take us a little bit of time to unwind after the busy season. I don't think it's great you met those deadlines and then the next day everything is a-okay again. I think a lot of times people can be pretty stressed. So if possible, like take some PTO, whether you take some PTO to go on some extravagant vacation, great. Or, whether you spend the whole time like laying in your bed, that's great too. Whatever it is that will make you feel a little bit more relieved and stress-free, that is the way to go if you can. So, and even better, plan something in advance as you're starting busy season, something to look forward to at the end. But making sure you have something to look forward to and something to kind of relieve that will make it more enjoyable. And then, hopefully that'll set you up for success throughout, the rest of the year that's a little bit less busy times. So hope these tips help you with your busy season. I'm rooting for you. I hope it's an amazing one. I hope that despite having to work a lot of hours, you can enjoy the process, enjoy what you do as much as you can, enjoy the people you're working with, work hard, and best of wishes. Good luck.